can we ask Dr. Mohammed Khair to just come back for 1.5 to 2 minutes maximum to wind up?
Can you allow me to use my screen?
Yes, you can use your screen, but please be mindful of the time.
Yeah. I have to say, I'm sorry, I'm in Africa at present, and the electricity.
You're lucky.
Normally,
sun anyway, so no worries about electricity.
So.
Yes. Okay, Mr. Technician Mohammed Khair, you can allow him to share his screen. You are on slide number, I think, 11 or 13, I think, out of.
Where are you, Mohammed Khair? Can you? I can't see them. Just give me 1 minute.
Aulos, you can share the one you have as well. It is.
Oh, is that the same one?
Yeah, it is the same.
Oh, okay. Just give me a minute. Okay. This one, right?
Dr. Mohammed Khair. No, that is Faqres.
Yeah. I don't think you sent me, but I can. Mohammed Khair, I can share.
It's written number 1, Dr. Mohammed Khair's.
I think I can do it within.
That's fine. That's fine. I can see you now. So. Mohammed Khair. Mohammed Khair.
Ahmed, would you be able to just present them without slides?
Yeah, I can do
it. At the same time, yeah?
As he was asking about, we need an assessment of the stakeholders. And actually in 2015, Dr. Abdul Qadir Saleh and Shetel Tronvol did a stakeholders assessment. And they described...
Sorry, you're ready now. Sorry, apology.
Is it open?
Yeah, it's ready for you.
Okay, okay. Which one it is then? Is this? Can you see the slide? Yeah. Okay. Well,
no, you haven't shared. You need to share it. Press the share screen.
Share your screen.
Okay, you have allowed me. Okay. Okay, I just go on. So they say that the political opposition is characterized by ethnic, regional, religious fault lines, adversely affected by individual competition for power, lack of transparency and democratic organizational culture, lack of consensus on a comprehensive political roadmap. And of course, the armed struggle widened the divide. People have talked about this, so I don't need to talk a lot, but we had also some researchers who had promoted Isias Afwerki over the years. And also we in the diaspora, I think we have promoted the dictatorship until at least 2001 through the culture of silence. And we are also in a way responsible for that. For a way forward, I say that we need to understand, recognize, and holistically appreciate our diversity. Avoid the mini Eritrea approach. We have to recognize that now the president cannot and will not reform. I think most people now agree because people had ambitions that when the border agreement between Eritrea and Ethiopia, he will open up to democracy. And that the regime had lost all legitimacy it had. And then we have to accept that the Eritrean people are the ultimate owners of their destiny. So whatever we have to present it to the Eritrean people, our products, and then they have to buy the best product. But we need also to practice our democracy in our own organizations, engage youth and women, engage positively with our neighbors. And what I say is that Muhammad, for me as an individual, I'm Muhammad Khair Omar, but as an Eritrean, Christianity also defines my identity. I'm a Tigray speaker, but all languages, Eritrean languages, define my identity. I belong to this Bija Tigray belt, but all the other historical components define my identity. So I have to accept that if I am talking at Eritrea, and then there shouldn't be any red lights that we shouldn't deal with. If you want to really solve this, I think we need to talk about this issue. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mohammed Khair. Now we've started obviously 15 minutes late, and I know we were supposed to finish by 6 p.m. with some conclusion and remarks from Chairman Habte Hagos. So we're still okay with the using the 15 minutes extra time and move on to some burning questions.
Rahman, can I just say if the can I just quickly say if participants wants it, we can have the time extended till 6:30.
Okay, okay, great. So shall we go on then to the question and answer sessions? And I can see some hands raised. Fisai, you've already had 2 chances. So
I need to clarify things, so I need to go first, and I need to ask 2 questions. One question was not answered from
make it brief, yeah?
Okay. So first is there was a question asked about whether we invited the Catholic Church. We did invite 2 priests, but they could not make it. So that is, we did approach.
And are you yourself a Catholic, right?
Yes, I am. And recently we have done amazing demonstrations. So I am onto that, but unfortunately for different reasons they could not make it. Okay. The second point I want to clarify is, and to apologize as well, when you want, I think Dr. Salah rightly said that we need to start together. So one reason really we are squeezing the presenters here, their papers are amazing, their presentations are amazing. So we want to give them chance whatever it is small, but we want to show also participation. We don't want to go 2 people present and they give us 15 minutes or 20. We need to give them, and this is ongoing work, like we will have a consultation process which will go on. People will be involved along the process. So for the cutting short of many presenters here, sorry, and also because they have put a lot of effort onto that. And we understand now, Habte, thank you for extending. We will extend up to past, so we will take your chances, but please, please be specific on what we want to do. What we are here is to look forward. I think, as I said earlier, through many websites we have, through many gatherings which have happened, we know now the grievances. So from the presenters, let us take the part which says the way forward. Okay, so how can we work together? So I asked earlier our great religious and brave religious leaders, how can they cooperate together, to work together when we want to go to the parliament, when we want to go to a minister of religion, when we want to knock doors? Can we go together? Okay, all the religious groups, even those who could not present today, can we do that? The same with our political parties. I think I want to ask to Mohammed Khair, Salah, Bukre, okay? We can't abandon the generation who lost his life, his career, to fight for independent Eritrea, and then to be a follower only of Yaakil. We need to think twice about this. Unless we try to merge these two, we can't reach anywhere. They have the experience, the know-how. Yes, they need to change. They need to move on themselves, but we need to know this. And I want you to address that. Especially Fiqre, as a lead person, I know the great work you do. Could you address this? How can we bring together the political forces which are actively working, and they have been from day one saying this is not the right regime, and the current, the young generation, a victim of the current regime together? And I want you to address this too. How could we move together in a short time and advocate for future Eritrea and awareness?
Thank you very much. Syed, thank you. Okay, with that note, now can we move to Ali Muhammad Ismail or Ali Ismail Muhammad? And then if your question has already been raised, you don't have to repeat it. And after you ask your question, you can also lower your hands. So Ali Muhammad Ismail, over to you briefly.
Abdurrahman. I have several comments I would have said, and I'll ask a question at the end, which will be very short, I hope. We said we are divided. We are divided, yes, because we do not trust each other. That is the main point. Unless we establish something to create, everybody has say something in rhetoric, but when we go to work, everybody has his own agenda. That is one point I want to mention. The other thing is the religion one. I never in my life saw that there was a religion different for the independence of Eritrea. In Eritrea, I was with all of you, but after independence of Eritrea, all the ELF, EBLF members, Sha'biya members were against they eradicate all the Muslims, then the pen test, and nobody raised his hand or to say this is wrong. And that is why now the siyas is including all religions. The other thing is before independence, which is very important, there was indication that the EBLF was going wrong. But when people ask, let us, like Manka and things, let us provide, they said, okay, let us first get independent and then we will discuss these issues. But all knows what happened after independence. Now we are the same people repeating the same thing. Let us remove the government from Eritrea and then we will think. That means we are going to repeat the same thing. Because if this government is gone, we know that last time when Isias propaganda that he got stopped, I remember people in Eritrea, in Sudan, in Ethiopia, all people are preparing for revenge. So we are directed towards civil war. I'm warning you. This have to be to avoid these things. To avoid these things, is it possible? Is it possible for us? We are the elites. We think we are no more than anybody, but we are still going around the same rhetoric, doing nothing. What we say is all rhetoric. Nothing is practical things. Is it possible to close the old chapter and start new chapter? Even the members of the Higda, can we close that chapter with them and tell them to start it?
Okay, Ali, can I cut you short there, please?
Let me finish the point, please.
No, you're just repeating everything that has been said, really. And if you have any questions, please.
If you want democracy, we have to start from the grassroots.
You know, but I have to manage the time as well. There is no open democracy with open time, unfortunately. So can I stop you there and then move on to Chafana, please? Chafana Hailemariam.
Oh, yes, thank you. Mine is rather kind of comment and a suggestion on the way forward. So is that, have you opened the floor for suggestions as well, or a comment?
If you can make it brief either way,
yeah.
Please, we would appreciate it, because the time
right. It's going to be very brief. Yeah, I'll try to be very brief. This relates to the Orthodox Church. I live in Manchester and happen to belong to Reverend Johannes's congregation. I would like to highlight that the Orthodox Church, which is the major institution and the oldest one, is the one that's suffering really gravely under the long hands of the PFDJ. And so there is this intra-institutional problem here, which needs to be addressed, and some support might be needed here. And I would like us to really give much attention and support, if we can, to resolve some of the issues that seem to be kind of a confused between what is supposed to be theological and political. And so those churches or congregations that are not the pro-PFDJ are suffering a kind of have been the victims of the transnational governance here. And one of the leaders of this church, Hailemariam, has been many times pleading for every one of us to really deny PFDJ the space within the institutions. And one of these can be, for instance, supporting some of the people to preach, really, to help them teach, not preach actually, sorry, to help in terms of disseminating their teachings, and by trying to disengage or disentangle what is supposed to be purely religious issue and political. And thank you for that, Neil.
Thank you. And so you're obviously calling for intra-religious reconciliation and dialogue, hopefully, and some kind of engagement to address some of their issues within. Thank you. And then we move on to Musier. Musier, I'm not sure of the full name, but I can see a hand raised.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Abdurrahman. And thank you, everybody who contributed with their brilliant presentation, all of them, 7 of them. I have just a brief question, mainly to the religious leaders, commencing with the Muslims and Jehovah's Witnesses, and culminating with the Eritrean Orthodox Church. All faith groups and institutions have been victims of this regime. Now, taking into account the polarization within the Eritrean society along religious lines, deliberately sown by the Eritrean regime in Eritrea, what lessons can the Eritrean faith leaders learn in working together from the experience of the role of religious leaders in anti-apartheid South Africa, and then to promote or support, to complement the work done by the political organizations and other Yakul movements.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mute, and that's for our religious leaders. We'll come back to that. So I'll move on to Abdul Qadir Dawood as well, briefly.
Abdurrahman is raising his hand.
Oh, okay, not the digital hand. I can see the human hand. Unfortunately, I didn't see it.
All right, I'll make it 2 hands. Okay.
Okay, can you wait? Because I'm not sure what number you are in the line. So.
All right, no problem.
But what's your name? Nazret Yamani. Okay, we'll come back to you, Nazret. So Abdul Qadir Dawood.
Yes, so thank you very much, Abdurrahman. One of the points was just about how first of all, I have to thank for all the excellent presentation that we heard today. I think enlightening and also inspiring as well. I would echo the same thing as the others who said how the religious groups, they have to work together. And just I would ask also, because Sheikh Abu Hanifa, he mentioned one of the points in the recommendation, they will put an enlightening the youth and all those things. And I think it goes also for more than your youth, also the older as well, they have to be included on the awareness. But I see that can also the others, can they say what do they do in terms of the youth awareness in teaching? My main question, so that's just to add to the things. My main question is, because the 4 presentations that they are an excellent presentations, I start with saying one of the problems, Dr. Asia, she mentioned it, we are not listening to each other. I think that is the core thing for my question. In the reason, and then we heard about all the grievances and the misunderstanding, and where Dr. Mohammed Khair, he gave us the root causes basically for the whole thing historically. And Dr. Salah also, he mentioned about the unity, sometimes it's a mere slogan. And then we go to Faqri also, he mentioned the national, the start of the national dialogue. Now, because the whole essence, the whole reason for this conference is to prepare a blueprint for the transition period, how do they see this national dialogue? There have to be a national conference. Can all these sort of issues resolve now before then? Or are we going to go with all these issues that we just heard? We go to transition and then you will quagmire in itself. How do they see the four of them? How do they see what is the urgency? Do we have it now or before? Because we don't know. Any time can happen, the transition in itself and the blueprint. And I think because the Eritrean focus, they are the one who initiate this one. Can they go an extra mile, taking this, as Abdurrahman, you mentioned already, food for thought, taking all these sort of things and put them in a national conference? We're talking about issues, not about allocations, because allocations can bring problems in itself. But the main issue.
Let's get them to comment on this one. Okay, our speakers, any of you can pick up any of the questions so far raised and briefly comment on them. Floor for you. Shall we start with our religious leaders? Maybe there was a question. If any of you are interested to comment on that. Any of our Abu Hanifa and Father Reverend Johannes? No? Okay. Dr. Salah, did you want to say something? I saw you raising your hand.
Yes, Abdurrahman. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes. I was out for a while because the Zoom program freezed on me, and then the host didn't let me in quickly. So probably I didn't hear all the discussions. But what I would like to say, for example, SNIT group, Eritrea Focus, Eritrea Manifesto 2020, to me, they seem the same. They are, let's say, educated group. Why we have three groups? Why all these group, they don't open a channel of communication? So too many groups, too confusing for the general public. So I think these three groups, they should come together.
Okay.
SNIT, and then also the political parties. We have too many fragmented groups. I think the political parties also should slowly come to an umbrella. I would say that.
Thank you. Any other comments from our speakers? Muhammad Khair?
Yes. What I want to say is actually, if we come here to just listen to what we would like to hear, we're not going forward. So we have to address the general issues, commenting on what Abdul Qadir said. And these issues are real, but we don't want to listen to them. And I think I would agree with a conference that looks at these issues in particular, about issues. What are the issues that divide us? Thank you.
Inshallah. Okay, I will move on to some more questions, and other speakers can also take your own notes and come back. So the next question from Yaman Abrahe.
Abdurrahman.
Yes.
I was raising my hand long time ago.
Raising your physical hand, or
no, both of them. I think.
Sheikh Abu Hanifa.
Yes, please.
Of course, yes. Come on, you're one of the speakers. I didn't see you.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Okay, it is a very important question.
أنا كمان عبد الرحمن بطرس أنا أبليس اللغة
حفظ بالكلها ريك هذا
okay, thank you very much.
Go on, Abu Hanifa, briefly.
Okay, briefly. It's a very important
Okay, you're muted.
Abu Hanifa, unmute yourself, please.
You mute yourself.
Okay, I was talking to myself. Okay, thank you. It's a very important question that has been repeated. So, you see, I am a religious leader, so though my friends, whom I will come to know after this event very well. The nature of religious leaders, they are, in most cases, they are concentrated in areas. They are not like the politicians where they are in the field. Let's say, for example, for them to meet one another is more likely than the religious leaders. a very important message to FSI. We did speak in depth. What after this? You see, what my participation with Eritrea Focus today, that I have won, I would say, okay, to know a great two priests, which I would like actually to have, let's say, for example, a friendship starting from here. The question is what the religious leaders can do. What Eritrea Focus can do, okay, is Fasahi knows how much effort that he have spent in order for him to get me, to get the others. So it is very difficult for us actually to get to know the locations and the details of other people, but through Eritrea Focus, if they can carry on the work, it's not only during the conference, as much as it is creating platform to get those people together through the works that Eritrea Focus will carry on, gathering those people. I think this will be practical rather than just leaving it to people actually to take the steps to get one another.
Thank you, Sheikh Abu Hanifa. I think that's a very clear message.
Can I briefly comment there? Would I be allowed to come just take a minute or two in terms of bringing together the religious groups? What we did about a year and a half ago is work with the United States Commission for International Religious Freedom to see if we can create a face forum of Eritrean religious groups. We had actually somebody who leads the face forum in Wales to help us, and he was quite keen to work with us. The unfortunate thing is that we did not have any takers. It could be the case that we did not proactively push what we wanted to do, but the interest at that time wasn't actually there. If it is the view of our religious leaders here that we should push on that, we would be delighted to do that.
Thank you, Habte. So can we ask Johannes Berhe and Andabran Waldo Georgis?
I'm also raised a long time ago.
Yeah, because I have a long list of hands reasons, so I'll go through the list.
Don't forget Nas.
The first one is Jonathan.
Jonathan?
The first one in the list is Jonathan.
So that's what I call.
We raised our hand long time ago. I think you are missing
Jonas, you're top.
Excuse me, if everyone talks by himself, we can't run this. So
I've only got a screen that shows me half of you, so I cannot see your hands when it's raised unless it's put on the screen.
So do you see mine, Bhashan?
No, I don't.
Yo, you see? You jumped me the whole time.
I can see. You are in.
Thank you.
Yeah, I can see everybody. The thing is, Abdurrahman.
You were jumpy.
Yeah, then I see Paulos, the technical guy. What I would say is, can we pick up some women as well? We got 3 women.
Definitely, they will have the priority. So, okay, let's ask Johannes Berhe. Is he on the line now? No? Andabran Waldo Georgis?
Yeah, I'm on the line.
Okay, go ahead.
Johannes, okay. Go on then, Johannes. Briefly, please.
I think what I wanted to say was taken by the previous...
So, should we pass that then?
Yeah, I just want to say it has been very, educational and a very interesting conference throughout the week. I have been attending.
Okay.
And I just want to say thank you to everyone. And I would like to give the floor to...
Sure, to somebody else. And I hope there will be some kind of evaluation form to be filled in later on to comment. Ambassador Abdurrahman. Nadret, I'll come back to you in a second.
Thank you very much, Abdurrahman. I will also thank the presenters for very informative presentations. I just want to make 2 brief remarks. I think I see an underlying consensus in the presentations of both groups that what we need in Eritrea is a secular civic state based on the rule of law and committed, of course, to democratic governance in a transparent and accountable manner. Also treats everyone, every Eritrean citizen equally in every aspect. A secular civic state would be, of course, would separate religion from politics and would guarantee freedom of faith and worship, treat all religions equally. And in that also comes diversity. But just before I go into the diversity aspect.
No, you're not going to give us a lecture, Ambassador Ademran.
I'm not giving a lecture. I'm just making
a quick comment or question, please.
What?
A quick comment or question, either one.
A quick comment then. I would like to support the proposal by Dr. Brahani to convene a national conference of religious groups. I would also like to suggest that all the weaknesses have been explained here, but for the diaspora to be effective, we need to develop a coherent strategy for change and transition, for building some sort of coalitions and draw up a common program of action. And of course, when we talk of diversity, we need to practice, not preach it. And one of the themes that the religious conference could tackle would be sectarianism, both religious, regional, and provincial. And with that, I think the religious groups or the faith groups can play a very important role in bringing together the movement or the various movements that are fighting for change and democratic transition in Eritrea. Thank you,
Ambassador. Thank you very much for that. So next, Nadret, Khadija, and Almaz. The three of you in 2.5 minutes, hopefully. Nadret, can you be brief?
Thank you, Abdurrahman. Well done.
No, I think you need to unmute yourself, Nadret.
Yeah, thank you, Abdurrahman. All the representatives of the presentation was excellent. I thank you very much. We appreciate it. I'm just trying to make a brief comment in supporting of Dr. Asia. She was talking about participating of women. I think all of us, we don't know that women, they are the main factor for our change and democracy. The world that Yakil, which is now polarized in this world, came by 1540 from the movement of women in Eritrea. Those women, they create a place called Arbat Asmara because they fought together with their husbands to kick out the enemies from their land once and for all. The Yakil was dormant, of course, later on, but man chauvinism also took over. When we go in political participation, we leave our wives, our daughters behind. We took an initiative to be representative of our own family. So women, they have been dormant for a while, but now they are starting to come together. Without them, there is no new Eritrea.
Good, great. So we move with that point then to the next.
Yeah, there is another point which I have to make is that how do we empower our political parties to bring together? How do we change? We bring a change in Eritrea because all of us, we are shading away from the change. We are talking about human rights activists and everything, but we are afraid to talk of the change. The change that Kamil Fouquet has mentioned is that the Yakil movement is doing its best, trying to bring everyone together, regardless of our political differences. Bear in mind, Yakil is not political power. It's only delivering the political to the Eritrean people. Therefore, if all of us with our differences to change the regime at one point of time, let's come together, leaving our political differences in order to make it quick to change the government. And this, we need to make an organization the way we are doing a World Conference, and we have to elect our own leadership for transitional government, because we in diaspora, we have the power, not the people in Eritrea, because the Eritrean people, they have been shut down by their mouth. They cannot move, they cannot do anything.
Thank you, Nazareth, for that comment.
Thank you.
Thank you. Can I stop you there now? Can I stop you and move to Khadija? Khadija Mohamed, I think. Quickly and briefly, please.
Hello, yes, it's going to be brief. Thank you so much. It was for all the great presenters. It was very enlightening. I have got a comment and two questions to make. One is just to add to my sister Asia from Network of Eritrean Women, a chair, who suggested to map out civic organizations. But also I would like to add, start locally mapping out the civic organizations. My first question, this was a comment, my first question to Dr. Mohammed Khair, which unfortunately his slide was, he had discontinued his internet. When it came to women's issues, like for example, focus on women issues or general issues. Dr. Mohammed Khair, what is your view on this? And also, what do you mean, if you can elaborate on this? It was unfortunate that the slide cut off. My third question is to Fiqra, which he mentioned the silent majority. Can you elaborate on this? Who is the silent majority? And yeah, these are my questions.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Almaz and Sham, briefly, please.
Thank you so much. It's not going to be brief, a bit more than brief. I'm sorry, because we have been waiting for.
And then
so
we'll be locked out.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Good. I will try to talk as quick as possible. First of all, thank you for the invitation and for Eritrea Focus and all the presenters. So the purpose of this meeting is to work on a blueprint for Eritrea, with the main focus for the transition period, as far as I have understood. So, but as all of you know, there exist several roadmaps or blueprints, at least as general guidelines. If I may name some, which were made just in the recent last years, we had that of Eritrea Advisory Panel, a group which was approached by an ad hoc group, you remember it, in Nairobi, meeting of November 2015, which was organized by MEDREC. Then we had, then there was another meeting in Nairobi with a similar aim. It followed by CINIT group, which prepared another one last year and which was discussed in several meetings. Just recently, 3 organizations merged together. Eri Platform, Ambassador Andebrhan is part of it, One Nation and with another, and they have prepared also let's say, roadmap or something like that. Okay. And weeks ago, Professor I mentioned himself, some professionals and scholars have published the Eritrean 2020 Manifesto, and they have created the Research Institute for Policy and Strategy. So, for the sake of saving time, I'm going to leave out everything. But my question is, how many roadmaps and blueprints does Eritrea need? What makes Eritrea Focus anticipated blueprint different than the already existing ones? Correct. What exactly is missing in those documents so that Eritrea Focus wants to prepare a new one? I think the problem is that... Let them answer the problem or the question. I think you've raised a very important question. Thank you, Almaz. Actually, I wanted to mention much more, but... I'm sure, good. Yes. We'll just stop it there for now. Do we have someone, Sham, are you online and ready to fire your question before I move to the speakers?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, hello everyone, and thanks for the presentations. I wrote it actually on my comment, you can read it there, but my suggestion is we keep talking about equality for women's participation, and we don't actually do it. So my suggestion is that every time we're doing a conference or even choosing members of a group, limit the numbers, and even if there are less women, then limit the number of women, make it equal.
Thank you for that. So Fiqra Gaim and Dr. Mohammed Khair, and the rest of you, you've been online waiting to comment or answer some of the questions, please. Fiqri, you may start.
Sure, thank you. I will start with the question, the urgency of reconciliation. I think reconciliation should start, should have been done a while back, but now that we can only start today, I think it starts today. We had 75 people in this room today, and I think we belong to many organizations, and it starts at the individual level, and it could go to organizations. When we talk about reconciliation, I think we have to reconcile with what we really want and how we want to work with others. Also, it has to be clear with for ourselves first. I'm not going to lecture on how reconciliation works, but I think it starts now. It's way overdue, and we cannot wait for the government to be changed before we talk about it. It starts now. Sure. There was another point, Rose, on how do you propose moving forward from here? Again, Almaz was talking about how many roadmaps that are already prepared, and we still have probably other organizations thinking about roadmaps. Maybe a good way to start would be participants of this conference to commit to something, to a follow-up to this conference, to talk about tangible steps and not in a very short period of time, basically. I don't want to take much time, but if there is more questions towards me, I would be happy to come back.
Thank you. Gabriel,
can I have just a couple of minutes?
Yes, Mohammed Khair, briefly, there was a brief.
I just want to say we don't need to be one, first of all. We don't need to be one. I don't think we will never be one. So we just need to work together on a common platform. We define that platform, we work together. The second is the blueprints. Let be there as many blueprints as possible, because every group is not diverse. It doesn't represent all of us, even this Eritrea focused group. So let them produce it, and then, as I said, it will be up to the people, and we work out which is the best out of these blueprints. The third one on the women issues is that in trying to prepare for this, I've approached several women. One of them was Khadija herself, and we talked about what divides women. And my understanding was that some would like to focus on women empowerment, others would like to work on general Eritrean issues. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I
Jonas is waiting to you.
I see Jonas, Petros, Tedros, and Fasanair Mabrahtu. Hailemariam is a very important guy from the political groups, and we wanted him to say a few words on this one. But obviously the time is also over, so I will hand over back to Habte, and for him to how to go about it now within the next minute. Habte from Eritrea Focus.
Abdulrahman, I'm happy for you to take an extra 15 minutes if that would help.
Okay, if people are okay.
Can I say something, Abdulrahman? It's yes. Also you can also use your discretion to give the floor to whom you think is appropriate.
Yes, I'm trying to do that now randomly, just to give everyone a chance.
So another 15 minutes, Abdulrahman. Eh?
Okay, no problem. That is already now 14 minutes. So shall we go to Hailemariam, and then I'll come back to those guys. Hailemariam, the reason we are giving him priority, he represents, I think, some maybe 10 or 34 groups from the Eritrean National Democratic Council, I think. Hailemariam, over to you, microphone, so you can tell us and comment briefly what you are and what you do. Hailemariam, Tasfai? He's probably not around, maybe. Jonas Eyob.
Thank you for all presenters. So I want to ask one question for the organizers of the conference and 2-3 comments about the Catholic Church.
Can you make one comment, please?
Okay. So first of all, I see the number of the young generation in this meeting is too few, and so for the we are working for the new country and for who we are going to hand over our country. The people I can see here is more above 50s. So, and the statistics which is presented by Fikra Gaim is, the number is, those who are burned after the independence is bigger than before that. So we have to, the good leaders are what generating good leaders, excellent leaders. So we have to bring them and we have to give them the legacy, what we have. That is what my idea. The other one is Catholic Church. From the very beginning, July 1991, she recommended, and I will quote, clearly, the priority of the person finds its most vital and essential expression in the enjoyment of our basic human rights, be the ethical, respective for the person, cultural freedom to search for the truth and to express one's own idea, educational right to schooling, religious right to free public and private worship according to the dictating of one's consciousness, economic right to work and to free enterprises, political to right active participation in public life and affair and so forth. So this is what the understanding of the Catholic Church from the very beginning, and she is always working in one hand. So the other religions also are expecting to come together, first of all internally, then to represent, to work with other groups. If they don't unite to themselves, it is very difficult to come together and to represent the country. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And Petros Pagargis, briefly. Petros? Petros, you're not there, are you? Okay, should we move on to our next?
I'm there.
Go on then. Petros. Tashay Urida, are you drinking something? Okay, Petros, we're going to pass you. Tedros Emanuel? Okay, and
I'm muted.
You're muted, Tedros.
Okay.
Briefly.
Thank you. I have a very brief comment.
Great.
I'm from Sweden, so I'm from
You're
the non-English speaking country. I would like also to thank the presenters. What is very common in all of them was the challenge that we faced in post-dictatorial Eritrea or in the transitional period will be how to build peace in harmonious ethnic, religious, cultural and political diversity and increase the participation of women. And all this in order to avert the risk of a failed state, the kind of Brother Ali warned us. I think we have a country, we all know that. Ali warned us of that. Now, we have a regime that has with grave violations of human rights, perhaps even crimes against humanity. So the dilemma we have to address is how to morally and as far as possibly legally satisfy the dual requirements of respecting the victim's experience and their need for justice, while at the same time...
That's very brave, my friend from Sweden. Thank you.
While at the same, I'm not
very, very brief comment. Thank you. Thank you, though. I mean,
I'm not finished yet. Can I finish off, or do you want to stop me?
If I could stop you, please let me stop you because you've already made a comment, and it's. I think
I didn't really finish, but it's okay because the second part is because we have to, at the same time, forgive with or without forgetting all those who have illed us. I think it's important to understand that we do not only see the criminal translation, but also the failed humanity of the trespassers, those who have fought for the independence of the country. I think the issue of dialogue and reconciliation is very, very important. Unfortunately, I couldn't
Thank you.
proceed.
That's
Thank
fine.
you. Anyway.
I think Fisanair, I'll jump you. Sarah Uqbai, because I've already given you one chance, so I'll give those who never had any chance. Sarah Uqbai, is she in? Because
thank you very much. Mine is just a comment. So I have been listening to all these papers, and thank you very much for enlightening us with all the pains and all the plights of the different parts of our society. My take from this is that we all are in pain. We are all in pain. We have been pained by this regime for a while.
Okay.
So what the thing is that we don't need to think about now my pain, your pain, his pain, and the extent of the pain. We can't. There is no way of measuring which one has been done more harm than the other. So why don't we start to think of our common goal and start to think?
Thank you.
Start to think of diversity rather than about diversity. If we start to think of each other as pained people, that would be a lot easier to.
Thank you, Sarah.
To be diverse. Thank you.
Thank you.
I haven't finished my sentence.
Ato Burhan, do you have a question or something, a comment briefly?
I have two questions. One is to Sheikh Mohammed. You said we need to have a new constitution.
Muhammad, is that Adam Omar, you mean?
No, this is from the previous group.
From the religious leaders, yeah? We only had Abu Hanifa, maybe.
Abu Hanifa, sorry.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. So
what's your question?
His recommendation that we need to have a new constitution. So I'd like him to expand on which areas of the existing constitution need to be modified or removed, or if it's a new constitution, then would the new constitution also bring a solution? The other question is to Fiqre, because he said the Yakel movement doesn't be for power. We had presentations the day before yesterday on lessons learned from other transitioners, and one of the recommendations was that the new government or the transitional government should be formed by parties, civic society groups, and also other political movement organizations. So why cannot the Yakel movement be in power?
Okay, can I briefly invite then Abu Hanifa, Sheikh Abu Hanifa, and Fiqra Gaim, just to comment briefly, if you're around. Abu Hanifa, are you?
Yes, Abu.
Yes. What do you mean by the question? Yeah, go on.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you very well.
Okay. Well, most of the things that I have mentioned in that brief introduction, we have submitted in a lengthy paper. So I hope, inshallah, Dr. Fasahi will hand out that explanation.
Okay, that's very good answer. And Fiqra Gaim, I can see also Salah Jimmy, if you want to comment on any of the comments or questions.
Rahman, I just want to say, Petros keeps writing on the side as well too.
Okay, can I raise his question? I'm ready to comment, Petros. Okay, we'll give you a chance, Petros, but can I just invite now Mr. Gaim and Salah Jimmy, if you have any comments to make?
Okay, I will go quickly on why the Yakel movement is not running for office or for power. One of the main reasons is because the Yakel movement is made up of multiple political organizations. Members of the Yakel movement at a city level come from civic organizations, political movements, and individuals that are not organized in any of those. So if we are trying, that would be a conflict for our members to be in a political party and then another organization that's also running for office. So the main goal of the Yakel movement is really to safeguard sustainable peace and democracy for a country, and always will be a watchdog for that. There was another question that was raised, who the silent majority was. I had missed it earlier. I'll be very brief. The silent majority are not probably a majority anymore, but they are still a big number. And these are the people that do not support the government, and they also do not belong to any political organization, political movement. They are waiting for the political organizations or the justice seekers to unite and be an alternative for them to join. So that's the silent majority.
Thank you. Hapte, I can come back to you now. I think your 15 minutes are over now. We are 18:45.
Just briefly, Abdurrahman.
Yes. Salah, is that Salah?
Yes. Yeah, briefly. I think we should refrain from multiple blueprints. What do we mean by that? If we're thinking about a constitution, a country is ruled by one constitution. So I would prefer, before this dictatorship is removed, if the civil organizations or all these intellectual groups come together with one blueprint, let's say, and the political organizations, and then they merge them. So hopefully, before the regime is removed, we have one blueprint or draft constitution or constitution.
Sure. And no harm in just digesting all the available ideas. Hopefully will result in one document in the end. Yeah. Samson and Petros, can you say in few seconds, a few words? Samson, Solomon, and Petros Tesfagergis, whoever comes first.
Am I the first?
Okay. Yes, because I was told you were the youngest person here, so...
Sorry. Yes. Sorry about that. Thank you very much, Abdurrahman. And
Petros, he's the youngest.
Am I unmuted?
No, go ahead. Don't just keep on saying it. Yeah, keep on.
Yes. Do you hear me? Do you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay. Working together is a very critical in this moment in time. We are at crossroads. The international community have realized that Isaias cannot make peace with his own people, one. And the other is that he has become a liability to Ethiopia by interfering in the internal affairs of Ethiopia. So there is an attitude now. The attitude is to really cooperate with the democratic movements. For example, on the 25th last month in Germany, there was a intergroup discussion on Eritrea in Germany in the parliament, Bundestag, that they recommended that cooperation with the wider Eritrean democratic movement must be done. You see the attitude of change. The other is, if you observe, there was a letter in America as well by Michael Rubin. He said to reach out to the Eritrean.
Petros, I think the point you're making is very clear. I think there is now a momentum for international cooperation on the Eritrean issue, starting from Germany to America. I think that's a very good point. Let's move to Samson now. Samson Solomon.
Thank you, Abdurrahman. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
I actually have just one concern. As previously Fakra Guy mentioned, almost about 70% of the Eritrean population is born after independence. So if you think about it, this population is outside Eritrea, almost, scattered all over the world. And the problem is here now, what I have noticed is that the intellectual Eritreans are not taking this into consideration. There is a real gap between the intellectuals and the youth, the new generation coming from Eritrea to all over the world. So it starts with the language and the platform you're using, like Twitter is for the intellectuals, and Facebook is for the young people, for the young generation. So this disconnectivity creates a big, huge problem in creating sustainable Eritrea, even after post-Isaias. So it's the responsibility of the intellectuals bringing these people a little bit near. Otherwise, we are observing that really many people are filling the gaps, and there is absolutely different discussion when we go to Facebook and to that area. So it should be a priority. Without this kind of connection, we can never achieve what we want.
Absolutely, that's our youngest member and colleague in this room. With that, I think we should conclude, although I would have loved to see my good friend Hailemariam from long time, and Asihel Butsuamlak and Sanair and Mukhtar Gabrabi. I would have loved really for all of you to have some chance to say a few words, but I think we need to conclude it here. And thank you very much for being patient with me and for giving me this opportunity also to be part of this discussion. So over to you, Habte and Fasaha Oldesus, Dr. Fasaha Oldesus. Thank you and bye from me. Thank you.
Abdurrahman, thanks very much. Fasaha, do you want to go first?
Yes, please. Thank you, Habte.
Yeah.
Thank you, Habte. I will go first to say to the presenters, really appreciated in short time that you are given, you produced the excellent work. But also, what I see today's conference is, I try to compare it to what it was last year. Okay, we always have weaknesses, and we try to mend our weaknesses. There was a big gap, some weakness last year. I think we did it somehow better. But I can see also great faces here who have got much experience, potential. They could have shared. So you feel sorry as well because you can't give that opportunity to them to share their say. So this work is ongoing. It is, as I said, it will go towards the end of the year. And because of that, I think your input will be always valuable. The diversity will make it. I think one reason I say to Eritrea Focus I will join is if we can make it diverse, if we can accommodate, and we are trying, okay? And there were many people who challenged us, even not accepting to what we were going to go. But Eritrea Focus is really willing to diversify, and all of us, I think we need to work on this. And this does not mean Eritrea Focus has got unique formula. As I said, from 91, I have been a vocal person. There were great, my elders, the heroes of the revolution, they have been saying, we have not been listening. The listening is not, I mean, we are recycling things, okay? But the greater we come together, I agree with Salah, okay? Yes, we can have differences, we can have our own shops, but when we come to national issue to move forward, we need to come together. Zoom has given us this wonderful now. I think, if I mention to you, you want to try to diversify, you want to go to far away regions.
I'm afraid I have to stop you there for
30 countries and diverse. So thank you very much. I want to say happy coming in.
That's great. That was very helpful, Fasaha, and thanks very much. I will be brief. This has been a fantastic session, I must say. We've had 23 or 24 hour session in the last 6 days, and every single hour has been fantastic and stimulating. It shows the appetite of the Eritrean people engaged. So, at this conference,
Ustaz Habte, can you give chance for the young girls and boys, please, like Wijdan, please? Because I know the elders, we talk a lot, but just a little bit, give them an opportunity, like Wijdan Usman, like those young ones, to listen to them. What do they need exactly? What them views? Thank you.
Well, it's 7 minutes to 7. So we can use, if participants agree, we can use the 7 minutes to give the floor to the young, and I'll try to wrap up in a minute or so. So I would not go into the details I had prepared. Shall we do that?
Yeah, go ahead.
So who wants to come first, please? I can't see.
Which done?
Yeah, I wanted to talk. That's Jonas.
Okay, Jonas, go ahead.
Jonas,
Yes.
you have taken chance.
Yes, I talk, but if there is not bother to say something, I will say. If there is somebody, I will give you the chance.
Yeah,
I could say something if
Okay, who is it?
given
Sorry.
a chance. Teresa.
Teresa, go ahead.
Go ahead,
Yeah.
Teresa.
Thank you very much to all of you for your wonderful presentations. It was very enlightening, that has been said. I would like to stress the fact and the point that we need to acknowledge women experience nationalism and citizenship differently from men, and those issues are extremely gendered, and we need to focus on the gendered aspects of these issues before discussing about bringing change within Eritrea. My question is, it doesn't need to be answered today, doesn't need to be answered now. Asia has stated, Dr. Asia has stated that she had made those recommendations last year, especially in relation to women's full and meaningful participation. My question is, how much of these recommendations have been taken and implemented within each opposition group or within the opposition movement? And in order to prevent women from repeating themselves.
Yeah, you've made your point clear. In terms of women's participation, I think we have a long way to go. What I would suggest as an output from this session is perhaps from Asia and Fesaye to put their heads together and come up with a recommendation as to how we improve for the next conference. Can I leave that with you, Fesaye, please?
Okay, thank you. I will, and I will bring Teresa as well, because she has done a fantastic PhD for that.
Thanks very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else who wants to speak?
Any young?
Okay, so now let me come back, because no one is what they wanted to say.
Okay.
Can I say just one sentence, please? Just one sentence. After Teresa. Because
Alma,
sorry?
just a moment. Jonas first, then you can come after Jonas.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. I wanted to challenge every one of us, because if we don't challenge ourselves, we are not going to bring any change in our society. So the ego of every individual in parties, in a leadership, must challenge himself and must work for the Eritrean people. So that is the main point. Everybody wanted to create his own parties, his own leadership, and he wanted to, he's saying, and he's telling us he's working for Eritrea, and that will not bring any change. Thank you.
Point taken, Jonas. Almaz, please.
Thank you so much. I just want to add to what Therese said. It's just in one sentence, because you respond with one sentence. We have a long way to go. We hear all the time exactly this excuse, but it was just last year where Dr. Asia and other sisters have made their recommendations, especially regarding early focus and the participation of women. And I've seen almost all presenters of this week. They were above 99%, only men. So please take it seriously. Thank you so much.
We will definitely take it seriously, Almaz, and my apologies for the failure to do so over the last 12 months.
I
apologize. Okay.
It's Paulos.
Paulos, hi.
Yeah, I just want to say to all participants here and then to all the presenters that that I also represent. I was working with HAPTA today to just make sure the conference was going smooth, but I'm also part of the ACL in United Kingdom, and my friend Kuflom, and then there is also a couple of people here like Goitom and the other ones, just to let you know that whatever is said, we'll pass it on, and it's quite very educational, so thank you very much.
Well, we have 1 minute if anybody has a final word to say. Okay, I will bring
a real quick one.
Okay, Sham.
Just a quick criticism of that. Earlier, Dr. Sarah and now Teresa were interrupted mid-sentence, and we're in this conference talking about diversity, and then we interrupt women when they're talking. That's not fair. So that definitely needs to change.
Point taken. Thanks very much. Okay, I bring this meeting to a close, and thank you very much for all the helpful contribution, and have a good time. All the best. Bye-bye.
Okay.